What's up guys, AJ here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how I made 32% annual from a passive real estate investment without any of the tenants and broken toilets. But first, come with me on a little drive over to the beach where we can enjoy the cool breeze and the ocean waves. Alright, just got to the ocean. It's a little windy, so hopefully that doesn't affect the sound too much. Now that was a little too windy, so I woke up extra early today. It's about 7 a.m. to reshoot a segment of this video because I'm committed to good audio, because I hate when I listen to YouTube videos when it's bad audio. So give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you can appreciate good audio. So really, when I first started investing in real estate, I was thinking about doing it kind of like a traditional investor. You know, they start out buying single family homes, maybe some very small multifamily. They got to find the deal themselves. They got to get it rent ready and do all the things that go into essentially being a real estate investor. What I discovered, even if you hire a property manager, you still get pulled back into key decisions that need to be made with the property. So it's definitely not passive. I'll give you an example. Earlier this year, one of my rental properties actually developed some mold. We got it tested, and thankfully it wasn't toxic, but it was a significant amount of mold because the property manager didn't handle the situation properly. And the amount of time that went by between the tenant initially discovering the mold and the property manager actually taking the correct action, the mold had spread. So I ended up having to pay for the tenant to move out. I paid for their hotel room for, I think it was about 2 months. It was extremely expensive. And the whole time I'm worried that, you know, what if it's toxic mold and all these things while we were getting it tested. Thankfully, like I said, the test came back, no toxic mold. But I felt exposed. I felt like I could be liable. And that wasn't an enjoyable feeling, it was an enjoyable process. I mean, all said and done, between hotel, mold remediation, I've spent over $20,000. Now we're renovating the property because of some of the mold damage, and I'm just gonna sell it. So it's gonna be beautiful when it's done. There's zero mold now. We did the test like 5 times to make sure that there is zero mold in the house. But it was a nightmare, and it took a lot of my time communicating with the property manager, contacting different attorneys to make sure that I was doing everything by the book, and now dealing with the contractors to remodel the property. It wasn't passive at all. And what's interesting too, let's just say, you know, you buy a typical house, $200,000 to $300,000, you're cash flowing a couple $100 a month. Let's just say even $500 a month. $500 a month times 12 months, so a year, you make $6,000. HVAC goes out. You need some roof repairs, you need a new furnace, you deal with mold like I did. One thing going wrong could easily eat up a couple years of cash flow. So you think you're making money along the way, then one major thing happens, and boom, there goes all your profits. So that property probably is my last long-term rental. I mean, quite honestly, for the cash flow that you can get from long-term rentals, priced $100,000 to $300,000, which would be kind of like average, I guess, for real estate investors, it's just not worth it. I mean, $250, $500 a month cash flow. In my opinion, there's just so many other things you can do with your money, or just put your time, energy, and focus into making a lot of money in a career or a business, than investing that more passive, like I'm gonna talk about in a second. So I'm done with those. I'm still pretty excited about Airbnb type properties. I own 2. Both will net me over $100,000 a year, it looks like, and I'm pretty happy with that. You know, that's a big chunk of cash that I feel good about. We don't really owe too much on those homes, so that's why we cash flow really well on them, and they're nice properties. So I am excited about luxury Airbnb type properties still. So I do plan to acquire more of those. My next one I think will be in the mountains, somewhere in around like the Appalachian Mountains, and it is Appalachian, not Appalachian. I lived in North Carolina, and they thought I was crazy when I said Appalachian. Although growing up in Michigan, they said it was Appalachian, so it's actually Appalachian, so don't make fun of me saying Appalachian, although it still sounds weird to me. So we'll probably do like Blue Ridge, Georgia, or maybe somewhere in the North Carolina mountains, maybe Gatlinburg, Tennessee, but we do really like probably Blue Ridge, Georgia the best. So that would be a great short-term rental. There's a direct flight to Atlanta from where we live. And then the second one will probably be a ski in, ski out type luxury property in either Colorado or maybe Montana. We like the Whitefish area of Montana, we're thinking, or Breckenridge, or like Vail, Colorado. possibly Park City, never been there, but one of those areas I'm thinking would be a good spot. So that's probably gonna be our fourth one. So we can use them, which we like that, and we can also cash flow and make money. Now let's talk about how I actually made 32%. So you may have already guessed it, but it was through a syndication deal. If you're not familiar with syndication deals, essentially you're getting a group of investors together, sometimes hundreds of investors, maybe even thousands, I guess, for really big deals. And everyone's investing a small portion of the capital to be partner in these deals. So I've known about them for, gosh, 5+ years, but never really had the capital to invest. Didn't have the connections. A lot of these, you also need to be an accredited investor, either has a net worth over $1 million or makes over $250,000 per year. So you gotta meet those qualifications too. So 2 years ago, end of 2020. So I guess my first investment was this deal actually. I invested August in 2020. It closed, I think, in October 2020, and it's called the Villas of Fort Mill. You can Google it. It's called the Villas of Fort Mill, and I invested, to get my feet wet, $50,000. I thought it looked like a good deal, completely passive. They send me my money on a monthly basis. There's a K1 statement, there's depreciation, so there's tax benefits to it. So I invested the money. I like the passiveness of it because I don't have to go out, find the deal. I don't have to vet the deal. I'm really trusting the people I invested with because these syndicators have years of experience. They have huge track records. So you build a level of trust with the syndicators, the operators of these deals. So I invest the $50K. I start, I think in October, once it closed, receiving $183 per month in passive income. Nothing crazy, nothing life-changing, but again, it's passive. I chose the option to invest as, they call it a B share versus a preferred A share. Preferred A, I would have got more monthly, but the B, I would have also participated in the upside. So I took smaller monthly distributions for a piece in the upside, and I'm glad I did because that's how I got a 32% return. So first 12 months or so, I'm getting $183 a month-ish, 187 I think it was exactly. And the second 12 months, I start getting $283. Now, probably the best email I got in a long time happened a few months ago. It said that that investment was going to sell. They found a buyer. It's in South Carolina, Fort Mill, South Carolina. Those of Fort Mill makes sense, right? And that the expected IRR, or annual return, was going to be about 32%. IRR and annual return is not the same thing, but they were both around 32%. The IRR was actually like 32.7%, I think it was. So essentially, I owned that investment for 21 months and received on average per year 32% for a total return of 60% over the 21-month hold period. So my original $50,000 turned into $75,800. So in just 21 months, I made $25,800 plus the distributions that I mentioned on a monthly basis. And it gets better. In the meantime, knowing that they were going to sell that asset, they located a second one in Charlotte called Towns of McCullough, I think it's pronounced. And this was a townhome community in Charlotte. So both booming markets, both about 45 minutes from each other. And they're like, hey, you can actually just 1031 exchange your capital into this next deal, meaning I didn't have to pay taxes on any of that distribution, or I guess that capital gain. I didn't have to pay any taxes because I got 1031 into the next deal. And now that deal is closed just last month. And I've already received my first distribution on that. I think it was about $321, I want to say. So now my original $50,000 investment is now rolled into a new investment, snowballed into $75,800. Now I'm getting returns on that $75,800, which $25,000 wasn't even my original capital. So it's like this snowball effect. And then when that one sells, I'll put it in the next one. And these syndication deals just aren't apartment buildings. Let me tell you, these are nice apartment buildings. Like I would have gladly lived in one of these, 5-10 years ago when I was first getting started in business. I've been in business about 15 years, but you know what I'm saying. They're nice. So I also invest through these syndicators, car wash, chain of car washes, Holiday Inn Express in Hilton Head. I'm a part owner of, or a partner in, don't know the legal term there. I'm invested in it, so I guess I'm part owner or a partner. Storage facilities, and then also these Class A, Class B apartments. So it's a nice variety across a lot of different markets and a lot of different asset classes. So what I figured out for me works best, and I think for a lot of higher income earners, people who are crushing in business or in their careers, is rather than just finding your own real estate investments, these small single family homes or these small multifamilies where they really can sometimes become a headache. You open up yourself to liability and it can become another job. I mean, I just had a couple and it felt like a job and it was stressful. I like these syndication deals. Sure, you're not leveraging your money because you're not taking out loans to acquire the assets and all that kind of stuff. I know there's benefits to both and both can work for some people. I'm just saying for me, what I found best is finding syndicators that I trust that have a proven track record, putting my money with them and getting the return stress-free, easy. Literally the work that it takes is filling out the private placement memorandum. That's the official paperwork. That takes about 5 minutes. Wiring the money, that takes about 5 minutes. Then just entering that amount of money into my tracking spreadsheet on a monthly basis, which takes hardly no time. And that's it. It's 100% passive. Quite honestly, there's not really much other truly passive things. Like investing in real estate isn't passive. It's residual income comes in monthly, but it takes work. This truly is passive. At the end of the day, if you love investing in real estate, you love getting your hands dirty with these different deals and finding the deal and all that, great, then you should probably keep doing that. But if you're crushing it in a different business, I am in real estate. I have a real estate team of over 6,500 agents around the nation through eXp Realty. Maybe you're a doctor or a lawyer, you make a lot of money, or maybe you're just in a different business, software, whatever, and you're making a lot of money. Don't create another job by becoming a real estate investor. Enjoy your hours outside of your work with your family, doing the things you love, golfing, this is a golf course behind me, kiteboarding, that's the ocean behind me, surfing, whatever. Like, do that and invest your money passively. That's what I think. So, hey, if you got any value from this, then like the channel, or subscribe to the channel, I should say, like the video. And if you have any questions about it, hit me up in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them for you. All right, we'll see you guys.